Thanksgiving being Thursday, we all have something we're thankful for. I mean, and I can start with you over the last 3 months, and I'll really go on now. It's been a rough time. But Fred never gave up. He never got down. Now, I did, but not him. And I'll have to admit that there were times that I really doubted God. And I had to really go to him in prayer and say, I'm sorry, Lord. I could never doubt you. But there were times that I didn't know if I'd ever bring that man home. And so I was afraid. But I will say, Fred, he held it together. And I know there were times that one time, I know he didn't even know he was holding it together when he had the sepsis, but he was. But through it all, he said, I'll be okay. I'm going to be okay. And so I praise God for that. But I have so much to be thankful for tonight. We have seen 2 miracles of men in this church in just the last 2 months. Look at Artie House. That's a miracle. And with Fred. So don't tell me God don't still do miracles. He does. He is a miracle-working God. We might not realize it. Sometimes but we do. He's there. He is there doing miracles every day. And I thank God for that. But you know, we can be thankful for many things. So tonight, just real quick, I want you to say one word that you're thankful for. Just go around the room and just say one thing you're thankful for. Even if it's a duplicate of what somebody else has said, that's fine. Grandkids. Grandkids, amen.
My wife, even if she does worry too much.
No.
Oh, that's sweet.
Somebody has to do the job.
No, they don't.
Okay, yell at too much. Don't do that now. I know I kept smacking his hand, so don't pick that up, don't move that.
My grandkids.
I think all of us grandparents can say that. They're the joy.
Husband and kids.
Pardon?
Husband and kids.
Well, everybody's got something to be thankful for tonight.
My church family.
My Christian heritage.
Amen.
Baxter and my family.
I see they gave you a nice birthday party this week. That was nice.
I'm glad for the blood of Jesus.
Amen.
Without the
Amen.
shedding of blood, there will be no remission for sin. When you shed his blood, we may have forgiveness of sin.
I just praise God for the fact that when I became a Christian, I mean, I was married. Had I not married a Christian, I don't know where I'd be now. But because of that, he led me to the Lord and led me to church. And these 3 months that we've been away from church, it's probably the longest we've ever been away from church. Because even when we were in Texas, we were at church all the time, or anywhere. Or even in Guatemala, we were in church every Sunday. So this has been hard on us not being in church, because I love my church family. And without most of you, I would have never made it the last few months. Phone calls and text, cards, visits. It's meant the world to us. Any other? Mr. Say.
I'm thankful. I was thinking today, I have a pear tree that's, when I stand in my kitchen window, it's just right there, and it's just getting bigger and bigger, and now it's just gorgeous. I have a picture on my phone if I was to see it, and it's in memory of my mother. And I got to thinking about all of my family
think that because of some of the situations that's happened in our church in the last year, 2 years, I think we've grown closer together. We might be not large in numbers, but we're close in body. We love each other, and we're concerned about each other, and I've seen that more in the last 3 months in my own personal life. So I'm praying that through this I learn to be even more compassionate to people when they're going through a rough time. You really need your church family, especially if you don't have family around. Without Debbie Waddell, I don't know how I would make it. The night that we almost lost Fred the last time, I called her and I said, Debbie, I can't get him out of the car. She said, I'm on my way. And I mean, she was there instantly. Well, neither one of us could get him out of the car. Fred and I was talking today. I said, had I got him out of the car, he wouldn't be here tonight. The doctor told me, had I got him in the house and not brought him to the hospital without hesitation, he wouldn't be here. And I didn't realize that that was one of the things that our grandson-in-law that just died a year ago, that was one of the things that he had at the end was septic. It had went to his blood, all his infection had. But it happens fast, so I'm going to warn you right now. If you even think somebody's got something, you don't hesitate, you get them. Because by the time it happened at the doctor's office on Greenwood, by the time I got to Oil City, Fred knew nothing. He was delirious and completely didn't even, he said he knew me, but I don't think he even did. Debbie, he didn't know. He didn't know where he was, what he was doing. And they said that's how fast it can act sometimes. It can be fine 1 minute, and as soon as that gets in that blood, it's like that. So if you even think somebody's got something like that, don't hesitate. Because it is, the doctor said, a deadly thing. Most people don't make it through.
It's an infection that'll tunnel. It'll tunnel through the body. We
When they
found
pull the
out
IV,
fast.
they had
real
that
fast.
PICC line, and when they put that PICC line out, they said that's when it went to the bloodstream. When they pulled the PICC line out, that's how fast it went through the bloodstream. So it's something that anybody gets it, just don't hesitate. But God is good all the time. Now he's up and running around and doing things already he's not supposed to be doing, I know, but the doctor made a big mistake when he told him Thursday, you can drive now. You don't have to wear the band. And I thought, oh, brother.
He'll be on that mower
That was the
soon.
wrong thing to say. But God is good. You know, and we think about some of the, this is Thanksgiving time. This is the time we have so much to be thankful for. Our family, our friends, our church. And like J.D. said, the blood of God. The blood of Jesus Christ. That's our biggest thing that every one of us in this room should be thankful for. I know where I would have been had I not been saved. I got saved when I was 19, I guess. 19 years old. My parents were not Christians. Was never raised in a Christian home. My mother was supposed to be an atheist that you probably want to be around until her 8 hours before she had a massive stroke, she got saved. So God is good. I can look back at today and I'm thinking, as I'm going through this lesson, and thinking of all the miracles God has done in my life and the things that he's done just for my family. It just blows your mind when you just stop and think. So you need to take time to just meditate on you when you're just feeling like, oh, well, nobody cares about me. I've done, you stop and think what God has done for you. The very first thing he did was he saved you. He saved you. And then you stop and think of all the things your kids he gave you, your family, your spouse, your grandkids, all the things that he's given to you and protected you from where we could be. I mean, just stop and think where you could be had Jesus not died on that cross for us, for each of us. Okay. Our faith promise announcements our announcements for our thing is faith promise. I'm not dunning you. I'm just reminding you if you've made a promise to God, half of the year is almost gone. So if you made a promise to God for your pledges, we need to keep those up to date. So make sure you fulfill them. I know we missed our alabaster offering in September. We didn't forget it, I just couldn't come. So what we want to do is just keep saving your money, and we'll have a big one in February. And we'll do the big alabaster at one time then for the year. In December's Compassionate Ministry really focuses on it, and this year it's going to be focusing on our sponsored tribe. So I'll put up a bullet thing, and we'll have it in your bulletin 1 week, some brochures and stuff. You can pray about it. Pastor Sailors that was here, how long they've been gone? 4 or 5 years, 4 years. He still sponsors a child that he started sponsoring here, and as a church, we get credit for his sponsoring that child still. So, $30 a month. And it does a lot for that child for $30 a month. So I'll put those brochures up and stuff. That is our emphasis for next month. Okay. Tonight our lesson is on developing in leadership. As I went through some of these lessons, I kind of thought, I'm going to pick out something, let's face it, most of us in this crowd is over 60, or getting close to 60, the majority. And we need to have some people step up and take our place. And I don't know what we would have done without James and JD and people stepping up while Fred was down. And people filling in for me. I mean, it just, no, don't worry about it. Coming and mowing our yard even, and taking care of our yard. God's good. But we're all getting up in age, and it's going to come a time that these young people around here is going to have to fulfill our shoes. We can't expect them to come in here and do stuff if we don't lead them, if we don't show them what they're to do. And if they might have to be a missionary, they're not just going to say, oh, well, I'm going to go be a missionary now. They're going to have some leadership. They're going to have a lot of prayers. And missionaries are retiring every day, and we need people to fulfill that job. But same as lay people. Lay people are getting so they can't do. Debbie and I was talking about that just this week about how Brother Watley and Brother Garland, how they used to go in there. We never worried about turkeys being cooked for the big meal for dinner. They always did that. Or who's going to do it this year? We never had to think about it. We know who's going to do it. Those two are going to do it, and they get Brother Ralph to help. So, people's got to realize you got to step up now and start doing our part, the ones that are here. And it's the same with training our young people. Our lesson purpose will be to consider how children, youth, and young adults can be nurtured to teach and to lead within today's church. Not just on the mission field, but just the daily life. Like, go out and work in the yard, rake the leaves. Leaves are getting deep everywhere. Well, there's nothing wrong with young people being saying, hey, let's have a party. Let's go to the church and rake leaves today. My kids, our girls used to do it all the time. They'd make a fun day out of it and get a lot done. Let's go and do something at the church. We need to help these young people do things, even kids. My kids used to like just go in there after they get up and then jump in them for a while and make a mess out of them and then get back up and have to clean them up again. But that's okay. It's a fun time and it's a learning time for them. But all these things, they need to have us to help them with it. Could NMI offer intentional opportunity to develop new leadership in this generation? Yes. We need to let them know that we are a mission-minded church, a mission-minded family. I have failed this year by not giving enough lessons, by not being here enough to do my job, and I apologize for that. But we need to have them to know this is a mission-minded church. The Nazarenes is a mission-minded denomination. And we need to back them. That's the only way they're going to learn about it is through us. They've got to see you excited about missions, or they're not going to be excited. I don't want to know nothing about mission. Why do I want to go be a missionary? Leave my family, go in some foreign field, not see them for a year, 2, 3. I don't want to do that. You got to make it exciting for them. Make them want to do it. Show them how you are excited for the missionaries and how you pray for them daily. Take one missionary, if nothing else, like our own missionary that we sponsor. Take them and just pray for that one every single day. And remember them in your home and pray for them. The scripture is Psalms Psalm 78, verse 4. We will not hide from their descendants. We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, his power, and the wonders he has done. God has done wonders. Daily. I have some fast facts here. You don't have to write them down because there's a lot. But it was just kind of interesting today as I read them. Because we talked a lot with my kids and stuff and their kids and being this millennium. They just, what's a millennium? You know. Now my vocabulary, I thought, what is a millennium? I found out for sure what a millennium. They're saying a millennium runs between 18 and 24 is a millennium generation. If you set into that, you're in that grouping. That's what you are. So now I know something today that I didn't know. But age distribution among the Church of the Nazarene, this was done in 2014. Between 18 and 29, there was 14% of the church was that age group. 30 to 49, there was 29%. And 50 to 64 was 38%. And then again, when they got 65, it fell back down to 19% again. And in the Sunday schools, in 2018, children held up like 33% of the congregation, or the church. Youth was 19%. Adult was 50%. That's a list, I'm sorry. Now let's go to actually attendance. The children was 33%. The youth was 21%, and the adults had fallen down to 46%. So you see why your kids aren't in church? Because the parents aren't here. You know, so many times in bigger churches, especially ours, is not quite this bad. Parents come to the door, they drop their kid off, and you never see them until time to pick up their kid 3 hours later. That's what's happening in the world today. Parents aren't going to church with their kids. We're a babysitter for some of them. We're a place that those kids can go, and for 3 hours, they don't have to worry about them. They just let them go, and somebody else will take care of them. So we need to not only train the children, but we need to get into those homes to train the parents. In U.S. and Canada now, this is the adult responsibility list broken down further though. If you're 34 or younger, there was 142,731 Nazarenes. If you're the 34 to 54, there was 153,748,000. 55 to 69 goes down to 132,000. And if you're 70 or older, it went down to 86,000. So the total adults is 514,840 in the Nazarene Church. If you go back probably 30 years ago, I didn't pull up the statistics today, but I bet it was a lot more of the adults then. So what's happening? Ball games? Video games? All these things is more important than being at church with their families. We want to put TV or social media or whatever before Christ. I'm telling you, as a nation, we are suffering because of it. The homes are suffering because of it. Your child, if you're in that category, I'm sorry, but your child is suffering. We went for a few months when we were in between churches that the kids walked out, and it was just 2 blocks to where this church they wanted to go because the pastor's kids drove us nuts every Saturday knocking on the door, visiting us. And after several weeks of this, Fred said, that church has got to have something that pastor's daughter is out every Saturday morning inviting us to church. Well, we went there for 32 years after that. But we said then our kids would never go to church again without us. We learned real quick after a few weeks that was not the way that you have a happy home. You need to be in church, and I'm sorry if I'm stepping on toes, but if your spouse is home watching a ball game or playing video games and not at church, shame on them. That should be a matter of prayer for the family. Because you need to be in church as a family. You really do. Now, off my soapbox. Fully 36% of the youngest members of the millennium generation, those between the ages of 18 and 24, when the survey was conducted in 2014. They deliberately avoided any affiliation with organized religion. They wanted no part of regular where it was organized. They wanted to say, yeah, I'm a Christian, or I go to church, but yet they didn't want to really be affiliated with one set religion. When our youngest granddaughter went to college, we kind of seen how she went into that group for a while, and now she's back on the right track. But there was a couple of years there we thought, oh no, what have we all done wrong here? But they get in with that group that they really don't want. So my warning to you two girls, even though you're in good colleges, don't get into that. You remember where you came from and what's expected of you as a Christian. But don't be afraid to stand up and say, I'm a Christian and I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. Some of them will look at you like, you're kind of nuts. Don't worry about it. God's looking at you and smiling all the way. Because that's the way we should be. But we need to be very careful of that. And the young people, I know, even I've seen this in older ones, that they get to where they don't want to be classified as a certain Christian. They just want to say they go to church. They don't want to say which church. Or they, my friend might not think that's a good church. Or, don't be afraid. If you're in a Bible-believing church, you're not going to shame me with Jesus. Stand up and shout it out from the rooftops. Okay. But why? Why does every generation need the MNI? Why do you need to know about missions? That's a good question, I thought, okay, now how could I answer that question? I couldn't. But let's go on to what they said. Belonging. Like others before them, many today, they wanted to belong. We search for meaning, for a way to be part of something bigger than ourselves. This desire for belonging is revealed in small ways. The desire to belong is revealed, in small ways, such as sports, we talked about that, teams or movies, logos on t-shirts, and bigger ways such as causes championed on social media. All you have to do is get on social media and hit the go. That's all you hear sometimes. NMI is big. You can't get much bigger than NMI. It impacts and reaches clear around the globe. Look how many countries NMI is in. Those who participate in NMI find themselves, their hearts and their minds stretched as they connect with the different cultures around the world and places within their own. Does everyone in our church understand that being a member of the Church of the Nazarene, that we are the supporting purpose of Missions International? Every penny, Wednesday night offering, for instance, goes to missions. When every time you put an offering on Wednesday night, that's where it goes. Am I right, Renee? Our faith promise, that's not ours. That goes to missions. It's divided up into different categories, but it goes to the mission field. So we're helping. Giving. People today are generous. I know sometimes you think, no, they're not, but they really are. People really are generous. Perhaps even more so than even they were in previous generations. But they want a place to contribute. Take a look at the current ads. These store chains, especially right now, all you see is ads. Store chains, car manufacturers, who got this best deal? Well, even the lawyers now come to me, I can get you more money than that lawyer can if you sue them. All these different organizations, shoe companies, the popularity even of the GoFundMe campaign also reflect on individuals' willingness to give generously to causes in which they believe. That GoFundMe might be somebody you don't even know, but it tugs at your heart. And they want to give to it. And which I'm not saying nothing bad about it. It's a good thing. But we have an appeal to everyone who is passionate about bringing others to Christ. That should be our passion for giving. Our money is used to bring others to Jesus Christ. And that's what our passion should be, so deep embedded in us, that every penny you give, I don't want to spend that. I want to give that might win a soul to Christ today. So stop and think about that when you're buying whatever you buy, a Coke or something. Just think, do I really need this today, or do I really need that? What are those nutrition drinks? By the way, they're no good. As far as I'm concerned. I had one, and that was enough to do me for a lifetime. It kept me up for 24 hours, and I said, that's not me. So be careful with those, though. Seriously, kids. After I had that one that day, somebody said, oh no, that's the one that has hardly no extra caffeine in it. And I'm wired at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm thinking, yeah, right. But you can get hooked on that. That is just, can be addicting to you, just as taking a drug. So be very careful when you think, oh, I got to have that energy drink so I can have the energy. Be careful with it, because they can be addicting. They can be where you just can't live without them. And that's just the way drugs do. They get you hooked on it. So I'm just a warning to all of you, be very careful. That's another motherly thing came out today. But we have that natural appeal, but what we give, we can help a soul to Christ. When Natalie and James had been to Mexico, everything they did down there, those little kids loved it. Those adults loved it. But I can guarantee you from there's fruits down there. There's been fruit for their labor that they put in. Souls have been won. We had a notice the other day from a friend on Facebook of a church in Tampico, Mexico, where Fred and I went down on a bus from Mission, Texas, to put lights out on their walkway and stuff for them. And they sent us a picture showing us what the church looked like now and everything. That's been 15 years ago. I'd almost forgot that little church. But, you know, so fruit's still there. The fruit is still coming. So anytime we do anything for the Lord, I can guarantee you, you might never know it, but it's there. So think about that. When you, now I don't want to put my tithe in, or I don't want to give the faith promise this year, I'm going to do something else. Think about that. Think where your money's going. So why, for our sake, NMI needs leaders of and for the every generation. Just like I said in our church, we need people to take over. We need young people. We need to bring in young couples to church, young families, to take over for the older ones. What's the same with missionaries? Many are retiring. We need missionaries to go out and fill them. Fresh eyes. This part I might step on a few toes also. NMI is over 100 years old. Any organization which has existed for decades runs a risk of just being obsolete. We need to be open to others, share things for their perspective. What Kristen's idea might be for a mission program might be different than mine. Is mine right and hers wrong? No. She's got a younger vision for it. Don't turn our back and think, well, their idea is no good. Doesn't mean it's not any good. It just means it's different than your idea. It might work even better than what you thought yours worked. So we need to be open, and as we get older, it's harder. I know that. It's harder for us to think that their ideas would be better than ours. Yeah, they can be. They can be. We need fresh ideas, whether it's at our church. We need leaders right here in the church to step forward and say, hey, all right, we got this big dinner coming up here in a couple weeks. We need help with that. Debbie right now is so engrossed with so many things going on in her life is so busy. She can't do the cookies all by herself. We have to have a cookie group. So if you want to be on that cookie group team, let Debbie know. That's a fun job. We have fun in there. You might get tired. You might get too fat that day because you do eat some warm cookies when they come out of that oven. And they are good. But there's things like that that we need young people to step up and say, hey, let me learn how to do this. I need a bulletin board changed right now. I'd love somebody to say, I'll do them. We need bulletin boards done in the kids department. We've been saying that for a long time. We've got the material, but nobody's put them up. You know, so we need people that will say, hey, let me do some of this. I would love to do that. So it's same as in the mission field. They need help with fresh ideas. We need leaders. Some of the leaders missionaries have served for so long, I hate to say it, but, you know, we really get invaluable. Because our ideas are so out of touch with what's going on in the real world now. The future, the church is at its best in the multi-generational and engages all ages in mission. Missionaries sometimes walk right out of high school, right into college, leave missionaries right out of there, maybe into seminary, some of them go to, and then they're right on the mission field. We have some missionary friends that went there when they were in their early 20s and are just now retiring. So they want the young people. The Nazarenes open to young people being missionary. Young people can help the whole